Okay folks, it's Coach Wade here, and I'm talking to you today about another one of our Knots to Know in the Knots to Know series. This is the 8th knot in the Knots to Know series. It is the round turn and 2 half hitches. The way this is used is primarily to tie a load down or to tie something under tension. You'll know from tying a bowline that we need the line to be loose when you tie a bowline. So we can tie a bowline at one end, which is actually what I did with this piece of line. Now today I went hunting and I caught 2 kids. I got Kate and I got Victor. And I'm gonna have to tie them down, and I don't want them falling off the truck while I'm driving down the highway because that might bruise the meat. And I don't want that. Okay, so if I wanted to tie these 2 kids down really tight, I tie a bowline at one end, which I did, and now I'm gonna pass through my second anchor point, the thing I wanna tie this rope off to. So here's my anchor point, and I go through it. But now the question remains, I can't really tie a bowline because it won't be, if I tied a bowline, I'd have to have it so slack so I could work the line that it'd be loose. So how do I create that tension? Now I'm gonna pull it down really tight. They're not gonna be able to breathe, but that's okay. And I tie it down really tight, okay? And I get the tension right at this point. And so I pulled it as tight as I want to be. And now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a round turn. A round turn means when you go completely around the rope, and it's going to look, to most people it looks like we've gone through twice. I'm actually going to shove that running end through and then work the tension through. Now remember, I obviously don't have this under much tension because I get in trouble if Mom will yell at me if I choke the kids. But I'm pulling that through, and I already created the tension, and so now this rope is under tension. It's pretty tight. To keep that tension, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this with something called 2 half hitches. To create a half hitch, I'm going to take the running end and I'm going to lay it over the rope. I've now created a bite between this standing end at the front end of the knot system and the running end. And I'm going to take that running end back through itself or back through the bite I just created, and I'm going to pull it tight. That is the first half hitch. Okay, and there I have the first half hitch. And it's already pretty secure. I can take my hands off it for a minute and I won't lose tension. But now I want to create a second half hitch. And so now I'm going to pass the line through, and I'm going to do the same thing again. This time I laid the bite under and I made a half hitch, and I pull it tight, and I get 2 half hitches finishing in opposing directions. You'll notice this one, the running end finishes going through the top, and this one, the running end finishes through the bottom, and there I have my 2 half hitches. So I could run down the road and they could be bouncing around in the truck, and this wouldn't get any looser. And that's what we're trying to achieve. I'm going to show you one more time where I can put a little more tension on it, because then I won't have to worry about bruising my meaty kids. Rolling. Okay, folks, so I'm going to show you one more time, and this time I took the kids out of the picture, and I'm really going to put a lot of tension on this system. I'm going to anchor it off to a slightly different spot where I think you'll be able to see it better. So here I have my line, and I pass it through once, and I get it as tight as I want. And it's really important when you tie this that this is the point at which you want to put the tension on the knot. I want to pull it as tight as I need it and get all the slack out of the system. Because once we make our round turn, the benefit of that round turn is that it's going to start to put friction on this knot system. So I'm going to...
I want the ending.
So I'm going to put tension on that knot system. And when I make the round turn, the friction of going around it a second time, or a full turn, is going to make it so that it's going to stay where I need it to stay. And so I'm working that line through, and there I go. And this is an important point as we're tying the knot. You'll see if I let go with these 2 fingers right now, all the slack would go back into the system. So what I need to do is I need to work down till I take all off that slack. So now I kept boing, boing, boing. It's nice and tight. I maintain the tension in that system. And now I'm simply going to make my half hitches. So I lay the running end over the standing end, creating a bite. I bring that running end through itself, through that new bite. Now I do the same thing. I work that tension all the way down to my round turns, and that's my first half hitch. And now I go in the opposing direction, and there is our 2 half hitches. Round turn, 2 half hitches. That's it, folks.